Today's review is brought to you by painkillers and a lot of coffee. Okay, so due to a recent illness, my ability to concentrate for more than an hour is pretty much shot. So what I have been doing is watching a lot of TV. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to review 2 seasons that I recently finished. And those are MacGyver Season 1 and Magnum PI Season 1. Both the reboots, both in the Lenkoverse, as they say. Lenkoverse being shows that were run by Peter M. Lenkov at the same time, being Hawaii Five-0, Magnum and MacGyver. And that continued up until 2020, where he was fired for being abusive. Basically, he was dismissed for being a crap human. Also understand that the movie and TV industry is absolutely chock full of these sorts of generally nasty people that have risen to the top because they have great creative drive, and along with that comes the very, very stabby side of the personality tree. Being fans of something means that we like to think that all our favourite characters and actors all get along like a happy little family, like we see presented on the shows. Suppose that's why when you find one that everyone just gels and you find out that it really is as good as it appears to be, you kind of treasure that, you know? Anyway, enough about reality, let's have a look at these particular fantasies. Starting with MacGyver, that kicked off in 2016. That is 6 years after the Hawaii Five-0 series had been rebooted. Sorry, but I'm not going to be able to get through these names without reading them directly. So, starring Lucas Till, Tristan Mays, Justin Hires, George Eads, and Meredith Eaton. This is a fun ensemble show, and I have to admit I love ensemble shows more than any other sort of TV series. This of course stems from my love of NCIS, and so anything I can find that kind of mimics, mirrors, or emulates that, I'm a happy guy. And MacGyver does a pretty good job at that. Now of course it's a reboot, right? So you got to compare it to the original. And compared to the original, it's as daft and silly and large and unbelievable as the first series was. They use better technobabble, they present it a bit more flash and style, a little bit more polish, but at the same time, there's a lot of winking at the camera, there's a lot of admitted I don't know if this is going to work moments, which is something I quite enjoy. The fact that the genius MacGyver quite often says, I hope this works, and Jack eventually has just gone numb. He goes, oh, don't ask anymore. I like the fact that he's not infallible. And he does a lot of guesswork, and he freaks himself out quite often. That's a lot of fun. And the supporting cast is also very cool. You got Riley, you got Boza, you got Thornton, she's out, and now Maddie is in as the boss. The on-screen chemistry works. Between Jack and Mac, they work really well. Riley came in, it was a little bit forced at the start. I don't know if that was intentional through writing or is it just everyone getting to know each other as actors, but she's come along quite well. Her technobabble is the best. I love her technobabble because it makes less sense than any other technobabble in any other TV series I've really ever watched. Alright, apart from CSI. CSI took the BS to an entirely new level. Boza's quite fun. He just drops into the show as a bit of comic relief, then turns into some dramatic stuff, then turns into actually quite a key player, which is really nice. Last time I saw this actor was in the Rush Hour TV series. I'm very glad that his career survived that, because not much else did. Watch it if you want to have a cringe, but seriously, not great. The biggest downsides I'd say about this show is some of the editing is dramatically choppy. They'll talk about a thing, they'll talk about a resolution, they'll talk about having to get to somewhere really quick. The next scene is them at the location or have gotten out with no connective anything. I know it's a short episode, you can't play it out like a movie, but you're kind of expecting to see the bits and pieces of how they do some stuff, and sometimes they just cut you right out and you're at the end location. The crossover episode with Hawaii Five-0 was also okay. Not fantastic, just okay. Kono and Kelly, that was great having those two there. Forcing MacGyver to look like a genius in front of those two, not the best. And we won't talk about the end sequence. That was the dumbest thing I think I've seen in any TV show in a very, very long time. So the MacGyver TV show, look, honestly, if you enjoyed the first one, if you're a big fan of the first one, this will be okay. This recreates a whole bunch of characters, doesn't really crush anything, doesn't break anything, doesn't ruin anything, gives other background characters more front time, which is nice, but it's about as flimsy a premise as the original, okay? If you're looking for solid dynamic TV, yeah, this isn't it. This is the cotton candy rainbow farts of procedural TV, alright? This is a good time and that's about it. Now the second one is Magnum PI. It kicked off in 2018, again in the Lenkoverse, and it also has key connections back to Hawaii Five-0. I'll get to that in a second. But this one is starring Jay Hernandez, Padisha Wig, Zachary Knighton, Stephen Stephen Hill, Amy Hill, and Tim Kang. Magnum PI, I was really invested. I loved that one since I was a little kid. I was super into Magpie. I mean, yeah, okay, I'll watch it again later, and it's not as good as you remember, right? It's like the A-Team, not that great when you watch it again. But still, there was a lot invested in that. So when they rebooted this one, I was nervous about it, especially rebooting Higgins as a woman. Yeah. No, not because it's a woman, it's because they're rebooting a character that was established in my head as a... You just want to make sure to do it right. And go, I don't care, black, white, male, female. Don't give us stuff, just do it well. Okay? Do it well and I'm happy. Just doing it and making it crap, I will be displeased. However, I'm very happy to report that this casting choice was brilliant. Oh my goodness, she is so good. This is premium Higgins. This is fantastic. And they've kept all of the characters, the essence of the characters, like what made the characters in place. For example, Rick and TC are still Rick and TC. They're basically the same characters, but just more so. And they've got a lot more to do. It's not the short white and the tall black comic relief buddies, you know? It's not that. These are actual characters with a lot to do. Often they have their own storylines. And talk about getting in the thick of the action. Magnum doesn't survive without these two. They are always there and they're kicking ass. They are good with their guns, they're good with their wits, they run their mouths real smart. This is a proper group of ex-military mates. And it really feels that the brotherhood is strong. Friendship strong. And then you drop Higgins in there and she is Higgins from the original show. She's snarky, she's nasty at times, she's aloof, she really thinks Magnum's an idiot. And quite often he is being a bit of an idiot, which they've also kept. I like that. They kept the British military history, except this time it's MI6. And as a disavowed MI6 agent, she's got a lot of skills and a lot of access. On a side note, the amount of stuff that Higgins can just do from that laptop, it's stupid, but it's for TV. You gotta speed it up. No one wants to watch Higgins sit down at her laptop and spend the next 7 hours getting stonewalled by code until she finally finds a back door. And it's very, very unexciting. But that antagonism and respect, that friendship, yet the frenemy sort of thing going on there is great. And my very favorite thing, and this is important, they do not have Magnum and Higgins develop a romance. That is important. There's interest. There's a bit of tension. There's the male-female in close confines constantly sort of thing. But it never goes further than that. They've got so much tragedy in their backstory that they just can't trust themselves to love properly. And that's an ongoing theme, and it is great. It's really good. This is probably one of the most successful reboots I've ever watched. In the way that they've kept the original characters doing their original things, yet in a fresh and dynamic and new and interesting way, while bringing exciting new characters into the screen and keeping the storylines and plots fairly relevant for what they're doing. Of the 3 shows in the Lankaverse, I'm going to put this at the top for best reboot. This is the most awesome reboot I've ever seen on TV for a show. I put in the middle ground for intensity, with MacGyver being at the bottom, then Magnum PI, then Hawaii Five-0 for a sliding scale of intensity. That's where I place it for that, but I'll talk about Hawaii Five-0 properly in another time. But as for recommendations, look, if you loved Magnum PI and you don't get too bent out of shape by, you know, gender swap roles, then hey, you'd love this show. This is everything done right. Alright, the pilot episode is a bit hinky. I mean, a lot of the concepts are great, but some of the action sequences and the CGI at the end, pretty bad, to be honest. But it's the pilot. I mean, you know that, right? Anytime you watch a pilot episode of anything, it's not the real deal. Stargate, for example, the pilot of that versus the rest of the season? Interesting. Anyhow, there you are. There's my review of 2 TV series I love. I'm going to get around to reviewing Hawaii Five-0 for you shortly. Probably Stargate, and I'll have a look at Rizzoli and Isles as well. Anyway, thank you very much. Hope that everyone's having a great week. Hope that you're managing to stay well. Yeah, this last week and a half has reminded me that health is an important thing. Take care of yourself, and I'll catch you later.